like the Jurassic Park movie? Well, guess what? Hey, lady, I left my jokes right there. I have some funny jokes. I got a joke from a stegosaurus. He tasted pretty good, too. Okay, here we go. You ready for some really good jokes? Here we go. What do you call a dinosaur who has been in a car accident? A Tyrannosaurus Rex. 2. What do you call a dinosaur who takes care of his teeth? A velociraptor. Yeah. Okay. Number 3. Nothing will triceratops this pun. What is the scariest type of dinosaur? A pterodactyl. Okay, I'm done with the puns. Now let's get ready to do the math. It's Dino-mite! Okay, guys, where's the camera? Somewhere around here, I don't know. Somehow, oh, hey, there we go. Let me see if I can get this so I can actually see what I'm doing, because it's pretty hard. Oh, hey, how are you guys over there? I'm going to try to teach, but it's kind of hard if I have to grab my legs every time. So let's go over back here and see what we're doing. We are doing chapter performance assessment, page 493 to 494. That looks like this. That looks like this. It has that color, and then when you turn it over, it will be on a blue page, like that. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. You're going to have to follow along as I'm reading. You ready? Here we go. The tally chart shows the number of objects made from recyclable materials found in 50 pounds of trash. So make a bar graph to model the data. Now you already have the model that already written for you in the tallies, and that's on the top. Yours is in purple. Mine I had to make in blue because I'd already written a chart. But you see it says recyclable materials in the trash. That shows the materials, which is plastic, metal, paper, and glass. Then it shows the number, the tally, the number of objects. Remember, when you have five lines and then a line across them, that means 5. If you have 1 alone or up to 4, that is just the number itself. So let's look at what plastic is. The plastic has 5, 6, 7. The metal has 1, 2, 3. And the paper has 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. And glass only has 1. So, we're going to come down here. I already drew my bar graph, but it's going to take you a few minutes, so you'll probably need to put it on pause until you finish drawing your bar graph, because it's going to take a little while. Now, let me explain this bar graph. Okay, when you're looking at this, you can look and you can see that I have made it, and I have said recyclable materials in the trash. On this side, I have plastic, metal, paper, glass, and I've written materials here. On the bottom, I start with a 0 in the corner. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I wrote down number of objects. So you will know when we bring the others from there to here. So, once you've drawn that, turn this back on, and then we'll go over where you're going to be drawing. But for right now, I'm just going to continue as though you've already finished drawing it. Now, you can use a ruler. I used the yardstick for here, but you could use a ruler or anything with a flat edge to draw it. So let's look over here. Let's look at plastic. We said we had 7. So I go over to number 7, I go up, and then I get out what I'm going to use to color it in. Okay, so I'm going to color in all the way back. All the way back to where the 0 started, and do this. Now I might just get another thing to do it because it's hard to see this. Okay, but you're going to color, there we go, that's better. We're going to go all the way out to number 7. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be to where you can tell that it's out to number 7. Because that's how you translate it onto this bar graph, is it's number 7, so we go do it out to number 7. Now, as we look at the metal is number 3. So because the metal is number 3, then you're able to come down here, look at number 3, and then you go up from number 3, and you go ahead and make your next one, going back to this, because you've gone 3 spaces. Now, the next thing we're going to do is look at the paper. The paper says 5, 10, 13. That's way out here. Do you see how the number is 13? So the 13 comes to here. So we're going to have to be drawing our lines out all the way when we make our bar. We're going to have to draw it all the way out to here, come down and draw all the way back. Because there are 13, so you have to go out to where the 13 is, and then color that in. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, now let's look at the glass. Let's see what the glass is. The glass is only 1, so that'll be pretty simple. You come out to the 1, and you just draw 1 into one of the bars. And now you can look at your bar graph that you just drew. And that should be very similar to that. It doesn't have to be perfectly like that, but that would be the example of what you need to do to draw. Okay, now, let's look at number 2. Okay, number 2 says, you can look at this below where you just drew. Number 2 says, how many objects made from the recyclable materials were found in the trash and all? You have to add them up to find out. Now, I'm not going to add them up for you, but I did put them in a row like this, because plastic is 7, metal is 3, paper is 13, and glass is 1. So you need to add these up, and don't forget, do not get these out of order. You need to make sure that what's in the ones is in the ones, and there's only 1 in the 10s. Because if you get this over here, this is going to be worth 70. That goes over here, it's worth 30. That goes over here, it's worth 10. And your answer will not be correct. Make sure you keep the ones in the ones position, and there's only 1 in the 10s, and that's number 1. So once you get that answer, that will be your answer to number 2. Number 3, you do not have to do, because it's about going out, and if you want to, you can, but you're not required to go do number 3, okay? Now, let's look at the next one, which is on the next page. So flip your page over. You'll be looking at the blue one. Okay, on number 1, up at the top right there in the green, I'm using an example on number 1. On number 1, it says, remember, this is an example, so don't write this down because it won't be correct, okay? So, here we go. Which is the expanded form of 538? Is it 5 plus 3 plus 8? No, because 5 plus 3 is 8 plus 8 is 16. That wouldn't make any sense. So it's not that one. Now, what about 500 plus 3 plus 8? No, it wouldn't be that one, because 500 plus 3 503 plus 8 would be 511. That is not 538. But when you look at 500 plus 30, because this is worth 500, this is worth 30, and this is worth 8, this would be the correct answer. Now remember again, this is an example. This is the example. So you have to make sure that you do the one that's on your paper like this, but not with the same numbers. Okay, now let's look at number 2. This is so simple. This is in your book. And this one is just adding it up. So I put this on. Don't forget if you need to carry. Remember, if anything is more than 9, then you have to carry it. So, and carry that extra number over. So make sure you do that. That's easy. Number 3, it says, which 3 answers have a difference less than 100? Now, I already put this up here for you, and I put them all in the order. The ones that are on your paper are sideways. Okay? The ones on your paper are sideways. And so I put them sideways. Instead of being sideways, it's way easier to do it when you have it up and down. Vertically, it's much easier to add or subtract. In this case, subtract. So you need to put yours like this on a piece of paper, a separate piece of paper, because you won't have room on here. And you need to do all of them. Okay, so subtract all of them. Don't forget, if the number on the top, and for example, on the first one, I'll do the first one with you. If the number on the top is smaller, like this 1, then you must borrow from the next one. And so you're regrouping this one into a 4. You're moving that 1 over and bringing the 1 up, and it'll make it 11. So 11 minus 6 then is 5, and 4 minus 3 is 1, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So don't forget, if you need to regroup, then you need to regroup. But you will be doing all of these to find out what the 3 that have the correct answer, because it's what is the difference less than 100. Okay, this was not less than 100. It's a little more than 100, so it won't be that one. So then you'll do the other ones. Now, let's look at number 4. 4 is over here. It says write an equation for the array to show how many in all. Okay, well your array on your paper shows 3 down and 5 across. So remember, when you're doing this, you can do these, and this is like doing 5 3 times. 5 plus 5 plus 5 and equals, and you put down the number. If you're doing it on the 3, you're going to do the 3 5 times, because of counting them in the other direction. So that will be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And they both equal the same thing, and that's what you will be writing down. Now, let's look at number 5. This is simple. You're supposed to do mental subtraction, and so when you do the subtraction, you're going to try to do it remembering what it would be if you were to borrow. But if you can't, just go ahead and borrow and make all the writing on there to do it. Okay, next one. Number 6 is an example of what you're going to do on 6. So don't write this answer, because this is an example. Okay, now you have write 608 in expanded form. And because there is a 600, you can see right here, this is the 6 is in the hundreds, the 0 is in the tens, and the 8 is in the ones. And so that means there are 600 plus 0 tens plus 8 ones. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could write 600 plus 0 plus 8, but you don't need to, since there's nothing there, and they assume when you put 8 that it's going to be in the ones. Okay, now for number 7, what is the value of the 8 in 381? Okay, it's really important you think about this, because remember, this is the hundreds, this is the tens, and this is the ones. So the 3 is worth how much? That's right, 300. If the 8 is in the tens, it's worth how much? That's right. So you need to write down what worth, and the ones are worth what? That's right, just one. So remember what that 8 is going to be worth, because you need to add a 0 behind that 8 for the answer, because it's 8 groups of 10. Now, let's look for number 8. It says, what is the value of 9 in this? So we look for the 9. The 9 is the very first one. Remember that the first one here is hundreds, tens, and ones. So what is if the 4 worth? Just 4, that's right. What is the 5 worth? That's right, 50. So what is the 9 worth? You're right, so you need to write that down, what the value of that 9 is. Now let's go to number 9. Use the mental math to add again. Now adding's a lot simpler because 7 plus 0 is pretty easy and 5 plus 5 is 0. But don't forget in your mind to carry the 1 from the 10 that was 5 plus 5 so that you can get the correct answer in the hundreds. Now let's look for number 10. This is a subtraction problem. So you're using mental math to do this. Well, 8 minus 0 is pretty simple, isn't it? Pretty simple to do. But when you do the other one, 0 minus 2, you can't do that, right? So you have to borrow from the 4. And the 4 will become a what? That's right, it'll become a 3. So you have to have that in your mind, 3. And then what will the 0 become? That's right, a 10. And 10 minus 2 is, and then you bring the 3 down. So that is what we'll be doing for math today. I hope you enjoyed the little videos we're doing with the dinosaur. If you haven't checked out the videos we make and we put on the our wall, we are doing some pretty funny videos. It's sometimes hard for us not to laugh. So I'll see you in a little bit doing some more videos. Love you, bye.